love of content creation. When I left my previous company, I had plus minus 5 years of content creation, and then that was the first time they were introducing it as part of teaching and learning. So basically, you'll see maybe in future, maybe depends if BUT has that stand. You might find that in the near future, BUT might encourage its lecturers to start pushing content. So us would be plus minus 6 years ahead. So on today's lesson, we are going to carry on where we left off. Remember, we were supposed to do the histogram. We were supposed to do the histogram. So this table was not finished the last time we were together. And how many of we managed to complete it? Oh yeah, you were studying. Okay, it makes sense. All right. So rewrite this table then. I've already completed it overnight. I'm from a night shift, basically, by the way, of specifically preparing for you for this class. I slept at 4. Make sure Bella dies. Oh, Nandalalang. No, a song as Lalang. I needed to take a nap. So yeah, I just took a nap. Histogram is in your test. Histogram is in your test. It has a lot of steps, a lot of marks. Ne? A lot of marks. So I might do 3 questions. I won't give you 1 hour, I'll give you 1 hour, 30 minutes. And first one is based on chapter. If you were here yesterday, it's based on which chapter? 1 to 6. It doesn't pay attention this morning. I said yesterday, I'm scraping all these other chapters. I'm sticking to one chapter, which is chapter 5. The theory part is your exam. Next. Now, not necessarily to say the exam now outweighs the calculations. No, the calculations will always outweigh the theory by around about 60 to 70% more. Yeah? Are we a bunch of people who like calculations, first of all? This Murada says no. Why? Me, I don't want you to do CPF. I want you to calculate and work for your marks. CPF won't work. You should, on my videos, be able to go and do this. No? It's a must. You must learn how to do it. No? Because we're writing very soon. I'll give you a week in advance. Actually, it's this week, né? This coming week, and the other week we are writing. By chapter, get one chapter, what do you want? One chapter. There are some other modules now anyway. Already one chapter of mine. I'm not here to kill anyone. So it's only one chapter and you are given ample time, honestly. One chapter, what do you want? Honestly, it's one chapter, 3 questions. There's gonna be 3 questions in it. I'll mix a little bit of theory. I did speak about how I'm going to formulate the theory. Each and every method or technique you are using here is being defined, and there's some certain rules that they tend to talk about. So the theory is going to revolve around that, and it's going to be minimal. And if I feel like not putting it, it might not even be there. But you need to appreciate something very critical. This is a dynamo effect, meaning that you need to start to practice from today. Ne? From today, not tomorrow, today. Because that other week, the week of, hold on. You see, the week of the 20th, we don't have a test. This is where you are practicing, okay? And then the week of the 26th, which is good so that I can mark during recess. It's very good because my workload on that time is extremely high. I'm having a lot of submissions. On another note, I'm having a lot of submissions. So that's where I haven't yet spoke about your assignment. Maybe the Excel videos. Maybe we might see something there. I might say watch those videos on Excel and then we'll turn it to an assignment. Ne? I will see what they did last year so that I don't deviate too much. When you're new on a module, you shouldn't deviate too much from the norms. Already by creating content on it, it's a first deviation. So now, between the 22nd, no 22nd, no matter what, I feel like there's a test there somewhere, somehow, on one of my modules. Between the 22nd and the 26th, we are writing. I'll confirm the date and the venue. But between the two dates, ne? I think we have ample time. And what I like is that I told the comrades already about this plan and they approved it. Understand? I know what you did yesterday, so yeah, they did come. So we agreed, Jorge. It's ample time, basically. So don't say we're putting you under pressure. I think the whole a 1 week advance is good. Usually you get 2 days. You know from the lecture, you don't have even enough time to prepare. So now let us carry on. Right. So now the other thing that we need to do now, because we've already populated everything, and if if you want to know how we did it, obviously you must watch part 1 of this, yeah, of this class. Okay. So as a matter of fact, on the test you'll be given this table. It has already been covered yesterday, ne? That they themselves went to every. This is more like you'll see when you practice. This is like 531, ne? 2.532 all the way to 75. Then you check how many times is 2.531. How many times does it appear? All those values. Then you write their frequencies. How often do they appear? Ne? Actually, they are tallies that will be given, ne, in the test. So you'll be given the raw data as it is, like here, the raw data as it is, and this table. So as you are practicing, you need to appreciate what does this table entail, so that you can be able to utilize it when you are doing your frequencies. Then after you've done the frequencies, you take your midpoints and your frequencies and you draw your histogram. All right. So now the midpoints, they come here, ne? Actually, not your midpoints, your cell boundary. Yeah, your cell boundary. So we're gonna start with 6. You see this one? The first frequency is 6. So assuming that 6 is around about here, then you do this. All right? Then that's 6. And then you have 8, which is your second cell boundary. You have 8, then you do that. Then you have 12. We are now drawing the histogram using the data net. Now we are doing 13. 13 is just slightly above. Okay. And then we are now doing 20. Actually, it's supposed to be frequency versus the low cell boundary. Ne? So these values here. Yeah, because we move from 31 to 36. You see that? From 31 to 36, and then 41, 46. Although, you need to appreciate what does a cell boundary entail. So here, we are surrounded by data between two, I'm going to write it in full now, 2531 to 2536, but ultimately it is represented as 5. It is represented at 5. Look at here, you see there. If you carefully follow our video, which we're going to repeat this on the book exercises, so the whole procedure, you're gonna get an opportunity to see how we did it. I pray that we get it today. Otherwise, we'll have to obviously continue with the class on Monday. This is a very long chapter. That's why I decided to say, you know what? Let's scrap all the theories and focus on this chapter alone. So the chapter it's integrated with its own theory. It's just minor, simple, straightforward questions. They're asking you about like maybe to define a midpoint, a median, and stuff like that. You know, sometimes why they are doing certain things. Like as you are reading or practicing, you'll see I've highlighted a lot of sections that are self-explanatory. Those are the things that they might be minimum to none. Ne? That theory sections. Okay, then we have now this 20. The only bad thing is I can't really write straight with this, but it's visible so far. Okay, and then we have 19. Then it's going down, as you can see. 13, just slightly above 12. Then 11. And then 8. So that's your histogram. And that's your histogram. So you'll be required to populate this table and to draw your histogram. A graph paper will be provided. Formula sheets will be provided so that you don't need to write all these things. May I provide formula sheets? Where I'm from, we always provide formula sheets even for tests. I don't know why you must cram these formulas. For quality, there are a lot. Imagine, I know, there's no way. If I was never made to cram any formula, I cannot make you to cram any formula. You need to be able to identify the correct formula. Ne? Yeah. So in simple terms, somebody will say where they're from, they were never been provided formulas, and they tell you about PH and PSC. There they derive formulas. They don't need any formula. So like us, we identify a correct formula, we apply it. Why should you cram it? Honestly, we're promoting CPF, and CPF will be eradicated by AI because already AI is proving that we don't need to have CPI. CPF, cram, pass and forget. Ne? Yeah. It's a pedagogy of students. So we're from there, all of us, guys. Honestly, I wouldn't be standing here without it, because we were tested on how best can we memorize, and it's a global phenomenon. It's not something that we. And then we came up with a solution. Black excellence. So now, to make your life easy, I will guide you on what you must look for. First thing first, I'll tell you find the midpoint. Ne? So your job will be to draw this table for cell boundaries, for midpoints and frequencies. That's the first thing first that you will do. Ne? Then after that, you target looking for the midpoints. Then cell boundaries, the low and the upper. They're not the same. They're not found in a similar way. Ne? We derived formulas yesterday. You use those formulas. And luckily, I've already started drawing my formula sheet that I'm going to use in the exam. I don't like, I've been a victim of this, whereby I ignored creating formulas. Later on, I took formulas from the existing question papers and stuff like that, and I gave it to my students. When I looked at those formulas, I couldn't even identify even a single formula that I was using in class. So I've started typing my own formulas. They will reflect the same way in the exam. Don't expect funny symbols that we've never covered. I'm not like that. So I'll stick to what I've done and what you are used to. I'm gonna have to complicate our life. It's already complicated. So then, as we're carrying on, you see here, the histogram describes variation in the process. It is used to. You see, there are such things. Okay, I can simply say, what is histogram used for? Such things. I can. It will depend with mark allocation that I can derive. Even the third question, I might not add it because of the mark allocation. I want to be around about 50 and below. So if two questions give me 50 without theory, theory is out. And I can't tell right now because I haven't even placed marks, like even on here. I don't know how much I'm supposed to give for each and every single thing here. I'll sit down and apply my mind. Because right now, I'm still on the learning phase. The aim is to deliver the teaching, not to start planning about where to kill people and stuff. So now, we are now doing what? We are now doing measures of central tendency. Ne? Measures of central tendency, whereby we need to look for. Okay, so a measure of central tendency of a distribution is a numerical value. Here we have the definition there. I don't want to dwell much on definitions because we have the textbook. You are able to read it again. Then I will just go straight to the point. So we are looking for the first one, that measure, which is the average. Ne? So the average is derived using this formula, which is x bar. Ne? X bar, it's equals to average. Ne? Then I don't understand why the sum of n, whereby I it's equals to 1 over n. So that means that your x1 plus x2 ne, plus, you see what they've done there? Ne? They make this dot 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 xn. So meaning that you will only stop adding when you reach the final number ne? Over n. Okay? So let's immediately go to the example. A technician checks for resistance value of 5 coils ne? Of 5 coils. So you can almost immediately tell that everything is going to be over 5. Then we have x1 here, x2, x3 until 5. Then x1 3.35 plus 3.37 plus 3.28 ne? Okay, well, all right. The formula or the question? Okay, no problem. So now the formula reads as average for, and also it is important to realize this is ungrouped data. Ne? It will be by coincidence if I give you any question by of ungrouped data. It will be by serious however, I do not want us to totally ignore it because they are much easier to solve. Maybe let's say I'm planning 45 and I can hold a question near 5 marks from it. I could, but yeah, it's unlikely. I'm pro grouped data, but you need to know the both again. Group data, how do you identify it? It will always have frequencies. Understand? Sometimes it will have even their midpoints. Okay, so now the formula reads as follows. The sum of the xi's, x1, x2, and all the way to the last x, ne? You'll be provided that data, by the way, over how many are they, ne? N stands for how many they are. So which is number of observed values. That's what it means. The number of observed values. Okay. Then this is the x1, x2. They are observed sum identification by subscript 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way till n. So this meaning the sum of. This means the sum of all these values, basically, like this. The sum of. So you can get away with just that. And you say x bar is equals to. Like that. You can get away with it. Yeah. I recommend you always write down the formula even if it's provided. You know why? We always add a 1 mark there. In case we fumble the entire calculation, we can give you a mark for the formula. And sometimes we don't even allocate marks for that formula, but we look for a reason to give you a 50 from a 49. We need that formula. Then just put a tick there. If you are getting a 50, there's a chance that, we did the things that, So if you get a 50, you are most likely to say, yeah, they have done something for me. And if you don't get a 50, you must know in advance that I've done everything I could. Ne? So I've tried to save you. And I couldn't. So, because first and first, I am not here to kill anyone. We are saving the costs. Okay? So now we are having 5 coils, which is our observation, n equals to 5. Then we are having, actually, this is no longer the same as that. Hey, these people, that's a slight mistake they've done there. We're supposed to write like this. Sum of xi's in total, basically. But yeah. Then The first x1 is 3.35 plus 3.37 plus 3.28, oops, right, plus 3.34, right, plus 3.30. I've already requested that Monday I would like us to have a double period. We are assigned a one period. We're gonna make it a double period. Luckily, it's online again, as per your timetable. So if I don't finish right now, I will try to finish on Monday. The reason why I'm fighting to finish is that at least I know that I'm finished with the chapter. I've covered everything that we need to do. You can be able to consult whenever you want. I told you, I'm always doing night shift for all my modules. I'm a new lecturer. I have 9 years experience of being a lab technician. Therefore, I'm back as a student again, basically. I'm learning all the modules. That doesn't mean that I'm incompetent. Obviously, I've done all these modules. But you can't just say, I did it 11 years ago, I'm going to go to class and teach. There's no way. When you were a student, you were getting a 50. So now you have to make sure that you cook people who must get hundreds and stuff. You must give me PDs, guys. I want them. I want distinctions. So now we sum of all of them. And guys, remember, this has tedious calculations. Your calculating game, now it needs to be spot on. Do not come in the test to start practicing how to punch or how to use your calculator. Make it a point that you have a calculator that you trust. Even if it's a sharp calculator, you have to be competent with it. Do not lose your calculator. And if you do, try to replace that very same calculator. So now, the value is 3.33. Right? Although there's a culture of not allowing round ups, keep that in mind. In this book, they have the tendency of not allowing rounding up and stuff like that. So you'll see as we carry on. All right. Then now, the very same formula now comes now with frequencies. Same formula. Yes. No. You round up based on the actual raw data. If it's on 2 decimal places, you stick to 2 decimal places. Right, yeah. However, when you are on histogram, when you are dealing with data that yield a histogram, you don't round up, you don't round down. Even if there's so many numbers, 3.3589. If they want only one decimal number, you take that 3.3, you leave everything else, even if it must be 3.4, you leave everything else. They do not allow rounding up. And you'll see even on the book, they will tell you they do not allow rounding up. You see here, when we were looking for a midpoint, do not round up your answer. And their value, if not mistaken, was a something with 5.7. The answer cannot be rounded up using this formula because the interval is 0.05. Even on the interval, they did mention that your actual interval, you see the answer we got for the interval was a 0.0057, we said, and the closest odd interval for the data is 0.005. We do not round up because you see this was supposed to be a 6. They didn't round up. They kept it the same. Ne? Yeah. Okay. Then let's agree to say I will try to tell you to round up, ne? To how many per question. I'll try to do that so that whereby where I see that I used an approach where I do not allow rounding up so that it can be clear. So if you don't round up unless stated otherwise. So now the very same formula of x bar can also be derived when we are dealing with frequencies, which is xi. Ne? Whenever we are dealing with frequencies. So I, it's a sub, they did mention here, sub what? Time. So subscript. So I, it's a subscript to that is equals to 1. So, and then n, you do everything according to the n, basically. Now you end where n ends. So over n, which is your number of observations. All right. Then I want to see what is their example gonna say. So now, okay, very interesting. So when we're dealing with this situation now, it's going to be like this. Given the frequency distribution of the life of 320 automotive tires, ne? Lifespan of 320 tires in 100 kilometers as shown in table 5.7, determine the average. So as you can see that we are supposed to do, look at this, by just looking at this you can tell that okay, you need to look at x basically, which is we have x here, we have f there, né? Then you multiply them across. So now you're going to have 25 multiplied by, looking at this formula, né? So however, how are you going to find this? How are you going to find this, né? I'm not going to give you this information, this one here. I won't show you this column. I'm only giving you maybe this, that, and that. Ne? So this is not compulsory. At times we just give you the midpoints and the frequencies. But this one is the one that you need to be able to develop. And then it's always not given. However, when you look at this, it says the sum of fx. You understand? So the sum of fx. So it means that you need to go develop a column for fx. Ne? Then you start with the first one, which is 25. Let me make this a little bit thinner. (25) multiplied by 4, which is 100. Okay? Then the other ones, obviously, I strongly recommend when we're dealing with these types of questions, you maybe consider writing, ne? How you found it, ne? Populate the table by writing. I'll tell you why. I have it, you have it. It's called test anxiety. That demonic thing that makes you make mistakes. If you write 100, the other one will write 105. The other one will write 150. But if I see, if this is 2 marks, you only got this one wrong because of the calculator decided to be the calculator of the year and it gave you a wrong grade. Then I can give you the mark. Understand? Otherwise, I can always give you 2 marks for just having it. But I know with my ninth month of experience, I know that this thing is possible. You make a lot of mistakes during tests, ne? And I'm trying to help you to minimize them. But I've shown you how I got the first one. I'm going to do the rest of them without always revealing what's happening. And this is where your practicing comes. You will guaranteed be under pressure should you not start practicing from today. You are going to be under serious pressure. Then we have 31 multiplied by 51. It gives us 581. And then we have 34 multiplied by 63. And it gives us 216. 21672. Then we have 37 multiplied by 58. Then it's giving me 2146. Then I have 40 multiplied by 52. 2018. 2080. 80. Okay, then I have 43 multiplied by 34. 1462. 1462. Then I have 46 multiplied by 16. Then it's 736. 736. Then lastly I have 49 times 6. 294. 294. Then we need to sum it up. So I'll erase this section here so that I can write on top of it when we find the sum. And obviously we need to find the sum of n, which n is it's a number of observed frequencies. So I'll start with summing them up, which is 4 plus 36 plus 51 plus 63 plus 58 plus 52 plus 34 plus 16 plus 6. And if it happens that you make a mistake here, I must find ways to start forgiving people. I will try to find ways. The one that I need to verify first is this one here. Oh, it's actually not. Yeah, 21,000. Let me just prove it. 34 multiplied by 63. 34 multiplied by 63. It's giving me 214. I do not have this value. I do not have this value. This one here. My calculator now. You see the mistake that I talked about. 2142. You need to have, if you practice enough, you'll have a gut feeling that something is wrong. So then you add them up. 100 plus 1 k plus 1581 plus 2142 plus 2080 plus 1462 plus 736 plus 294. Then why am I not getting the right answer? Guys, wait. Okay. 1, okay, 15, okay. 2, 14, okay. 208 plus 1462, 736, 294. Okay. It's denying me the right answer. It's fine. I'll just take what is written there. The 11, 5, 4, 9. Guys, there's noise level. I don't know whether I should stop here or what. The noise level is not cool. right? We have 11, right, over 320 equals to 11,549 over 320. We have 36, ne? Okay, then moving right along. And then there's another one with weighted average. I have zero interest in this one. So it's not, I don't know, it's not part of anything that we are doing, right? Then we have for the median for the grouped ungrouped data from as early as what grade 10. You know that I can how to find a median. And then now we are doing it for group data. So when you're doing it for group data, you have this formula. It says to you, you are going to be given this and that only. Ne? You're going to be given these two values only. Then then you need to be able to say LM. What is LM? It's a lower boundary of the cell with a median. Ne? How do you find a median first of all? So a median is the center a value. Ne? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your center is 58. Do you see that? So now, now we are talking about the lower boundary. Ne? This is the value here. The lower boundary. Ne? This is the value there. Then you can somewhere start collecting your data. LM equals to 35.6. Then the N, obviously, it's your 320. You calculate your frequencies to get your 320. And then your frequency of the median, which is FM. Your frequency of the thingy of the is 58, right? And then interval, your interval is simply lower boundary minus the higher boundary minus lower boundary. Always it will give you the cell interval. So which is, if you say 20, actually from, remember they're actually different. It's here 23.6 minus 26.6, which is 3, ne? Yabo. Okay, remember we have that. Let's go back to our table. Okay, I think I was taking a shortcut. Thanks for bringing me. All right, so let's explain the cell interval just a little bit for this exercise. Should it not be provided? Because I don't think it is necessary to provide it. So how do you get the cell interval? We know that, let's say we have a value, that is 1, and then we have 2, and we have 3. Then we have a midpoint 1, midpoint 2. The distance between two midpoints is your cell interval. Okay? Then also the very same distance is the distance between 1 and 2. Right? So you know that when you are doing the lower boundaries, obviously you take the smallest value first again, then you're going to add the interval here. You're going to add the interval to get the second lower bound, which you are populating only this table here, only this row. Ne? Then that's going to be okay, 23.6 plus my interval equals to the second cell interval, ne? A cell, what you call boundary. So in this case, we are given it as 26, ne? 0.6. So obviously we now solve for I. You have I is equals to 26.6 minus 23.6, which is equals to 3. Then you now prove that again. 23.6 plus 3, it's going to go to 26.6. Ne? So now your I is 3. Your I is 3. So to find the upper cell boundary, which UB equals to, you take the midpoint, ne? Plus, you take the midpoint plus half of the interval, which is going to be 25 plus 3/2. Then it's going to give you, so this is the formula that the book do not discuss. The upper cell boundary and the lower cell boundary. The book doesn't discuss this in details. However, they use this philosophy. Then now, if you are looking for the upper cell boundary, 25 plus 3/2, then you're going to get 26.5. 26.5. Ne? Once you have the 26.5, all you need for you to get the remaining ones is to add the interval. Once you find the lower cell boundary, then to find others, you just add the interval. So 26.5 plus 3, it's equals to 29.5. You see that the second, this one comes out, this one. So you add the 3 all the way until age. You need to also look at age. Age is where you're supposed to end. Yeah? You remember age, R/I. That is your age. So it's the number of cells. But that is covered in the previous recording. We cannot go all over it again. Right? So now, we know this information. LM, ne? We know LM, we know N, we know F, we know I. Ne? Now we are looking for the cumulative frequency to that median. Ne? So how do you do it? You look at your frequencies, you add them up, starting from 4. You add these values. 4 plus 36, ne? We are followed by 40. 40 plus 51, we are going to 91, ne? 91 plus 63, then you are going to 154. 154 is your accumulated frequency that is between the is it median? Yeah, where you are finding the median. 154. All right, and then the other hint that it was given was The other hint, I just forgot how to do it. Let me see. They're of 160. Okay. Okay, they just said 320 divided by 320 divided by 2, which gives you 160. So it shows you where the median is playing around. And when you are doing this, you can see that 154, it's almost close to the 160 that they are estimating, which that part doesn't really matter that much. However, it's important you know that you are playing around 160. Then from there, you're going straight to your formula. And your formula is this one here. You just punch in the information that you found. Let me rather write from the top there. You are going to be asked for the stuff that you must look for, right? You know that, I get. Even though on the formula like this, you just fight to find all the questions that you are looking for. Then MD is equals to, what's your LM? What's your LM? And then what's your N over 2? 1/6. Then what is your CFM? Then what's your FM? Right. Then what's the answer? What's the answer? The answer is 35.7. The median is 35.7. Right? So I'm going to give you a data looking like the one here without, obviously, it's a frequency and that. Yeah? Then I then ask you, determine the median, determine the standard deviation, determine there, and obviously it's a group data. You should be able to identify the formulas from the formula sheet. Ne? I won't label the formula sheet, of course, so you need to be able to determine them. All right, the mode, we don't cover it. The range, already we have covered the range. And then standard deviation, there are two types of standard deviation, one with frequencies and one without frequencies. I prefer to stick to the one with frequencies. So I'm going to skip this. However, I urge you to practice this. Ne? I urge you to practice that. So say we can't use the standard deviation. Man, you know, I've done that thing when? Probably 2011. I no longer remember. As I was doing these things, I was like, I remember I no longer remember how to do it. So, but yeah, it's possible. You should be able to find all the answers. Yeah. And that's why we have the calculators again. That's why we're having these fancy calculators of ours. So now, we have the ungrouped technique. So this is a standard deviation that relies on the average. As I said, I'm not going to dwell much on it. And then we have standard deviation of ungrouped data. It's not my main focus, but practice it just in case. And then we have standard deviation of grouped data. This is what I am more interested in, and I'm leaning towards setting these types of questions. Ne? Yeah. I like giving what I can test. At this moment, this is what we must do, all of us. So now uh, obviously, as you can see, it doesn't. The formula itself doesn't need the use of. It doesn't need the use of what you call this average. You don't need average for it, ne? So obviously, if I am to ask you for average, you use that formula, this formula. So in simple terms, the first question when I give you this data that I ask is find the average, find the standard deviation, find the median, find the what. Then you keep on finding all those things, ne? Applying the formulas, ne? Then I'll check the marks and see if he's overdoing it, and then I'll remove certain aspects on that. But I'm gonna use group data. Let me just be honest. I'm going to use group data. That's why I'm ignoring the ungrouped data now. And even for exam, that's low level, man. For for in case you become a lecturer 10 years to come, yeah, you will teach your students that part. You need to appreciate it. But I'm not here for that. Now, I'm saving the semester, okay, guys, and I teach what I'm possibly going to test. Ne? I do not have a question bank. Please do not ask me for previous question papers. My book is my inspiration. Ne? And almost what we did. And it's recorded. So I'm most likely to take you back to the recordings the day you come and say, but this one we didn't do. I take you to the recording number what, is on YouTube, it's on Butela. Why are you not studying? You must start there because there's no taboo that you're going to find in that test. Everything is covered. So now, when you look at the formula, because the table, guys, you need to appreciate your formula. I want to extract, I don't want to look at the formula, I want to move it. So I'm going to do a screenshot of the formula. Let me do the screenshot of the formula quickly. Okay. Hey, this small screen, it's not make sure. Is this the formula? Oh yeah, this is the formula, right? I just want to do the screenshot of this formula because I want to paste it close by where I can tell you what we are doing exactly. Okay, this is wrong, right? Aha, there. Okay, now I have the formula on clipboard. Then I'm going to paste it there. Oh, it decides to fall far away. Right. Then let's look at the formula. On the formula, we have fxi, ne? But with the x squared, ne? So f I x I but squared. Then we have another one which is fx, and then which have a squared outside the box. You understand? So now it means that on the table, looking at this, when we are doing standard deviation, looking at this, what is it that you must do? You need to firstly do this, né? Then you do then you do this one. Then you do this. All right? Then on your table, you just extend your table just slightly, and then you write this fx. So that's what you're going to calculate, fx, and then fx squared. Then you find the sum, then you compute it on there. How's your confidence level, Kaori? You understood what I just explained, or you want us to do it? Right, number one. Like when I start calculating, I hear people laughing and stuff. So I'm wondering maybe I'm teaching Albert Einstein in the class of great R's. I don't know. So then now the first thing first we do is 77 multiplied. I prefer you do opposite. You'll know you'll thank me later. You do opposite. You say 5 multiplied by 77 equals 2. And you'll see why. 5 multiplied by 77. Then you're getting what? 385. Né? If you edit slightly and you put a square right there and there, you're going to get 29645. Did you catch it? Okay, there's a no. Let's address the one no. So now, okay, now we're saying 5 multiplied by 77 squared. So on your calculator, you just say, you just edit the 77, you put a square on the 77 only. Two, 9, 6, 4, 5. Yeah, kala ne. But we're gonna make it. So now 19 times 86. Then you get 1634. Then you edit to put a square. It goes up to 140524. Then you edit. You remove by pressing AC. Then 31 multiplied by 95. Remember, me, I'm not in a business of wasting time in a test and giving you long stuff. I'm just testing the knowledge. I'll minimize this, né? Because I want you to write in full. So I'll minimize. I'll try maybe 5 lines. Then yeah. So now 31 and 95. Okay. 2945 squared 279775, right? Then 27 times 104. Okay, then you have 2808, né? Then square 292032. Okay, then delete. We go up. Oh, at least we are down. This is doable. This is doable. This is doable. 14 times 113. Then 1582. Then 178766. All right, guys, please. I'm going to emphasize it again. You rewatch the video today until you go to write. Then when you go to write, you must be sharp. 85 plus 1634 plus 2945 plus 2808 plus 1582. I'm getting 935. I must just refer. Yeah, it's correct. 935. 9354. And then this other one, I can just quickly, this thing, 29645 plus 140524 plus 279775 plus 292032 plus 178766 98766. I'm getting a 920742. Then we go back to our formula. Guys, come on. All right, we have what? We have our straight line, ne? Yeah? Hey man, hey man, hey man. Who hacked my laptop? All right, okay, guys. What is our N? 320. Okay? Multiply by this answer there, which is 920742, ne? Minus this value goes into bracket, which is 9354 squared over 320 minus 1. Then everything must go under a square root. Then you put your square root there nicely on your calculator. 320 multiplied by 920742 minus open bracket 9354, then 320 minus 1, and I have 45. I have 45. Hello. Let me verify my answer. They're getting, whoa, not the 320. Where are we taking the 320? This question has changed, guys. My mistake, my bad. So N is 96, ne? You sum this, guys. You sum this and you're gonna get 96. I'm of the view that we are still on 320. Apologies for that. It's 96. Ninety-six minus, yeah, there. Okay. All right. I'm getting 9.9. And that's the answer they are getting. If I want you to do average, I'll request for the average. I'm still benchmarking. Again, I'm covering all these problems so that I can benchmark which one I'm going to put. Standard deviation, average, because I think there's a median. Yeah, well, I'll see, because now I can see there's a lot of marks. From three, the formula. Yeah, there. I'll send you a printout, né? That you can print of my formula formation. Then you must print it out so that when you're practicing, because you're gonna be required to always scroll and looking for the formulas. It's best to extract them, put them in one place. Yeah? So I've already done that. I'm gonna share with you. Then there is the issue skewness, ne? Skewness is a lack of symmetry of data, meaning that it can be, as you can see, skewed to the right, skewed to the left. You see that? Yeah. So that part is it depends on the X bar, ne? It depends on the X bar. I'm processing deeply. Let's do it, but I'll have to think about it carefully. So I'm going to erase it. Sorry, guys. Now the nice thing when I do all my questions manually and then I type them, so I can have a feel on how long does a test will take. If I finally, if I ask you for a skewness and for average and for standard deviation and for whatever, I'll be knowing exactly or approximately how long it's gonna take. So then I'll start to filter some. Ne? Now we're doing all of them, but you must not expect all of them. Unless that test must have only those questions only. But I want your histogram, and I did say it's in the test. So now, you still remember the formula for average, guys? Hello. Their average in this case is, their standard deviation firstly is 2.3. Their average is 7, ne? But I'm curious. What's the formula of fx over n, ne? I want to see something. Can't I get this average? I'm determining whether I must give you the average or not. So, okay, plus 4 times 24 plus 7 times 64 plus 10 times 32. Then over, we are 4, ne? Over 4. It says one something. Okay. The n, number of frequencies, no. You see, now I have to go to the formulas and check for the formula for average. Median. Where's the average? This. So n is 320. Okay. Then, okay. All right. So the 124 divided by 124, 7. Oh yeah, it's possible. It's possible. So I was trying to see whether finding the X bar first for this question, finding the X bar, wouldn't it help us to find the correct value? So, but it's possible to find the X bar, guys. Hello. It's possible to find the X bar, and the X bar based on this question, it reads as follows. The average, okay, determine the skewness, ne? Then whereby the average is 7 and the standard deviation is 2.3. I've already proven the 7 that it's a real figure according to this. Then we are expected now to do this information. Looking at the formula, we have x minus x bar, ne? Looking at this formula first, and then after that we have f x minus x bar with this, ne? So look at this. 1 minus 7 is equals to negative 6. Then 24 minus 4. No, sorry. 4 minus 7, negative 3, right? Why is it? No. X bar, we're doing this, whereby 4 minus, what's our X bar? It's 7 again. It's given there. So 4 minus 7, it's equals to negative 3. Then 7 minus 7 is 0. And then 10 minus 7 is positive 3. Then you come here. 4 multiplied by negative 6 to the power 3. On this one, negative 3, 24 to the power 3. This one is 0. Then this one is 3 to the power 3. And then what's your is 32. Then you just add them up like that. 4 negative 6 to the power 3. You're having equals to 864. Ne? 864. I'm writing opposite of what I'm saying. Give a tick. 864. Okay. Then 24. 3. Then negative 6, 4, 8. And then the last one, which is 32, 3 to the power 3, it gives us 864, which is positive. 864, which is positive. Then we sum them up. We are going to have negative 864 minus 648 plus 864. Our answer is negative 648. Then we go to our formula, which is this formula here. And then we're going to have negative 648 over 2.3, which is our standard deviation. But this one, okay, let me write properly, guys, apologies. Negative 648 over 124. Then this one to the power 3. The value we're going to get is 0.42429. Okay. Then obviously you can do for the what do you call it, kurtosis. Then you can do also for you will do it by yourself, the kurtosis. So this basically they make sense. So I can be able to ask. I give you the frequency. I give you the x values. Give you the frequency. You need to look for the average. After the average, you can look for the standard deviation. After standard deviation, you can look for the median. You can look for the skewness and the kurtosis, and so on and so on. So based on the marker location that I want to limit, I'll choose the questions that I want to achieve. Ne? Yes. Coefficient variation is not in our scope. I've removed it. And then we have the normal curve. Filtering.
Das concept No.
I know. We are together on that one. While you were writing, me, I was still practicing. Okay. All right, yeah, it's coming very well. Let's continue the good job. All right, guys. No.